Well, I first met Don when I was in the 9th grade and he was in the 11th grade at Harvard Military School, which is no longer military now, it's Harvard Westlake. He was my drill instructor, so I was basically afraid of him.
His three main influences are being a Boy Scout, and here I have his original Boy Scout card. And then going to Stanford, I have his acceptance letter, April 14th, 1951. And then I have his ID card for the Air Force. And I think that's why Top Gun is his favorite movie.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
We first met when we both entered Stanford in 1951, and we became fraternity brothers and good friends, and we've been good friends ever since. Even when we were in school and having as much fun as we were having. Don had a purpose. He had a sense of a goal, a concentration, and you knew that he'd be a successful individual.
I love how Don got started. He needed $2 million. He told me he went to Etna in Hartford, Connecticut, and right before he walked in the door, he thought, okay, if I say $2 million, they're gonna just think, oh, he's just another one of those guys that needs $2 million, so I'm gonna say $5 million. Sure enough, they signed a letter of credit. He got on a train to go from Hartford, Connecticut with his partners back to New York City. Everybody got, as Don would say, shit-faced, including the conductor. And they got him to stop the train. They got off the train and got more liquor, got back on and went into New York.
This is Koll Center, Irvine North. It was a property that Don purchased in the mid-'80s. This plaza area is very intimate, active with people. Don's vision was to really make this be a sanctuary for the office worker to leave his building, come out and enjoy lunch or just enjoy the sun in the afternoon.
I think Don's other great accomplishment was his development activity in Cabo, in particular Cabo del Sol. So I recall when he first introduced us to the project, he drove us down a paved road, took a left on the dirt road, went about a half mile to the beach. We get out of the bus. He says, hotels, golf courses. And I thought to myself, never going to happen. Sure enough, like everything else Don did, it happened.
Don had a vision to bring golf, and part of the change in Cabo San Lucas was taking it from really a fishing village into a golfing mecca. And he brought in who he thought was the best, Jack Nicklaus. So when they started on their first project, Jack kind of had to take a step back and say, this is amazing. This is one of the first times in my career that I've ever had an opportunity to actually design a course by myself.
You can go back and look at the first time you had the vision of going down and at Palmilla, you bought Palmilla and you said, you know, I want to turn this into a really good facility. So we did 27 really nice holes of golf there, went down to Cabo del Sol, did another really nice 18 holes of golf down there. You absolutely put Baja on the map.
Real estate's about imagining things and bringing them to reality. Don has a tremendous ability to do that. He thinks big and thinks wisely.
One of my favorite Don Koll stories was when I worked for the Koll Company, and I think back of when we were negotiating with Taco Bell for their corporate headquarters, and Don sent a message to John Martin that said, if you will sign a lease with us, I will in fact crawl across the bridge on Von Karman Avenue. And in fact, he did that.
I think if there was a headline in the New York Times and it showed Don's picture, it would say, "Here comes trouble." And everyone would know they're going to have a good time.
The longtime business partner of Don's went on vacation, and it was an extended vacation, so Don was, wanted to get back at him a little bit. So while this partner was out of town, Don drywalled the door of his office, and when he returned from vacation, he had told everyone in the office to act like they didn't know who he was, and so he walked up to his office, and of course his door wasn't there.
What really strikes me about Don is how modest he is about his success. He doesn't really like talking about himself. Most of what I know about Don's accomplishments come from either Kathy, his friends, or what I read in the paper.
Don is known for his alumni. He's known for being a mentor. He created other entrepreneurs.
over and over and over again.
You'll find many of the most successful real estate companies are led by former Koll disciples, ones taught by the Koll College, which there was actually a college in the Koll company to teach you how to behave and how to be professional and how to be truthful.
Don's a leader, and he's the type of man that you basically want to be around and want to listen to.
The Don Koll I know sees no boundaries in the world, personally, professionally, or otherwise.
Don wanted to be the best. If you were a fireman, he'd be the fire chief. He was a Boy Scout, he was an Eagle Scout. He wanted to be the biggest developer in Orange County. He did it all.
Don, knowing you has been one of the highlights of my life.
I know how much you loved Stanford, and I know that you've, over the years, surrounded yourself with lots of other Stanford people. I couldn't be happier than to be a part of your induction into the Stanford Real Estate Hall of Fame.